Welcome guys to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien, and today we're gonna be looking at some cryptocurrencies. We're gonna see what cryptos are on sale today, because I do see some red across the board here, and we'll just try to find out which ones are good cryptos to get into. I'll be taking your requests for cryptos, so if you have any particular cryptocurrency you want me to take a look at, we'll look at that on the charts here, but let's just get started by looking at the crypto bubbles here. I'm on a website called cryptobubbles.net, and it gives you a basic, visual idea of like what cryptos are doing well and which ones are not doing so well. And right now, there's a little bit of red across the board here. There's only a handful of cryptos that are actually doing pretty good today. Some of the more notable ones that are actually doing pretty good is like, I believe this is like Flare. Yeah, Flare is up 14%. Then you got Dexy up 9.3%, and Layer, Soul Layer up 10.9%, and Walrus up about 8.4% today. Some notable coins that are actually down, that are sticking out, is Trump Coin. Trump Coin is actually down 9.5% today. Then you got Core down 11.5% today. And yeah, I mean most coins are down about roughly like 3 or 4%. Bitcoin only down about 0.8%. Let's go ahead and take a look at the charts now. We'll start off with Bitcoin, and then we'll look at the other cryptocurrencies. And then I'll start taking your requests here, guys. And then we'll look at some coins that I'm currently interested in. Just trying to do a little sound check here. All right, so here we are. We're looking at Bitcoin at $95,400. A little bit down today, only down about 0.45% today. We did see Bitcoin threaten to get above $98,000 on Friday. We saw it get as high as about $97,948. And what that did for me is I actually decided to do a Fibonacci analysis here, where I measured from like 97,800 bucks roughly down to 74,400, which is where Bitcoin was at just a couple of weeks ago. Okay, and it gives me these numbers here, this like rainbow colored looking chart here. And the number that's sticking out to me where Bitcoin could possibly go to next, that has a little bit of confluence, is the $92,700 Bitcoin area. I believe Bitcoin might come down to like 92,700 maybe in the next couple of days here or later on this week. And that just happens to be at the same level where we have this blue line here. This 100-day moving average is currently sitting at 92,900. So it looks like we might come just a bit shy of $93,000 on Bitcoin. We might see a $93,000 or $92,000 Bitcoin in the next coming days here, as Bitcoin kind of like chills out for a little bit and cools down after having a pretty solid couple of weeks here where Bitcoin was going up and to the right. And that's going to give the oscillators, the indicators here on the bottom here, that's going to give the RSI a chance to cool down. Bitcoin was close to being overbought on Friday at an RSI of like 70. And now we're like at an RSI of like 64. So Bitcoin is just kind of like chilling out, cooling down. The MACD, okay, moving average. The MACD here is saying that we're getting less buying pressure. So we had some green candles here the last couple of weeks, but now the green candles are turning light green, and I'm expecting a flip on the MACD, and I'm expecting to see a little bit of red candle start showing up here later on this week. And you know, all that really means is it's nothing to be totally concerned about or panicking. It just means that we're probably going to see some discounts here on some of these cryptos that it's going to give people a chance to actually get into crypto at a decent price here. So yeah, if there's any cryptocurrency you're eyeing right now, you might be able to get them on sale later on this week, is what I'm basically gathering from all this information here about Bitcoin and crypto. I see Jim is in the chat. Hi, Jim. Good to see you here. And I see Trade Intuition is also in the chat. Good to see you guys. Yeah, appreciate you guys smashing that like button. Helps me get the channel out there. It helps get this live stream out there so other people can benefit from looking at the charts here with me on cryptocurrencies. But yeah, if you guys have any cryptos you want me to take a look at, shoot away. Let me know what your requests are. I kind of want to take a look at SUI, and then there's some other cryptocurrencies I want to look at. But yeah, I think we'll look at like SUI, Cardano, and Pepe, because I did put that in the title of this live stream here. But yeah, let's get started with SUI. See how SUI's doing. And then I think after that, we'll look at Cardano. All right, so here we go. We got SUI currently trading at $3.26 here. And yeah, I see a request here for Book of Meme. I'll write that down. Let me go ahead and write that down here. But yeah, we're looking at SUI, and then I guess we'll look at Book of Meme next, and then I do want to look at Cardano as well. So let me go ahead and write that coin down, Bome. All right, I got you. Okay, I got you on the request. All right, but yeah, let me just take a look at SUI here real quick. We did look at, I think we looked at SUI yesterday, and from what I've seen with SUI is SUI's kind of like just creating a bull flag here. Looks like I have to adjust the flag a little bit. Okay, it's looking probably more like this now. All right, so we might just be range bound on SUI, where we kind of like bounce up and bounce down. You probably want to catch SUI at these lower prices of like $3.16 roughly, if you can. We got as low as $3.15, I believe, earlier this morning on SUI. So that is the low watermark there. You could just start buying SUI whenever you see it like at 315 or below that, and just accumulate your SUI position here. We do have some moving averages that are coming up here. The 21 EMA should provide some support as it climbs up here. Right now, the 21 EMA is currently at $2.89. I'm expecting that to be probably like $3 later on this week. So, if you see a $3 SUI, it might be a good opportunity, a good buy the dip opportunity to like buy some cheaper SUI at that price. I do see here, just like with Bitcoin, that the RSI is starting to cool down on SUI, so it's cooling down and chilling out for now. And then also the MACD is also showing less buying pressure, and then I'm expecting a flip on the MACD, and we might see some red later on this week on the MACD, and that's just a buying opportunity in my eyes. And then stochastic RSI is also trending downward here. When the stochastic RSI gets down to this low area and like the 10 or 12 area, that's probably a good time to be buying some SUI. You'll probably get some cheap SUI if you see the stochastic RSI, kind of low over here. So yeah, I just see some buy the dip opportunities here with SUI, and if you're able to get SUI below $3, I think you're doing pretty well. Right now, the 200-day moving average is sitting at $3.25, so we're kind of like chilling out there, but we might lose that, and we might come down to like $3 on SUI. But the bullish case on SUI is I still think we can get up to higher prices here, where we might see SUI get up to like the 0.786 retracement level here at $4.39, and then try to retest the highs that it made back in January at like $5.37 SUI, okay? And I just think that, you know, you should be happy if you see SUI at $5, because we don't know if it's going to be able to do that or not again. But if it does, I think everybody will be happy to see that. All right. We'll look at Book of Meme because I got that request, and then we'll look at Cardano after that. All right. So let's go ahead and look at Baume. Book of Meme coin. Ooh, I don't know if I like the data on this chart. Let me try another chart here. What's a good one? What's a good one? USDT. Let's try it on Mexi, maybe? Yeah, Mexi's probably got more information, yeah. All right, so here we are. We're looking at the Book of Meme coin here. Currently at 14,029, 0.00014 pennies here. And this thing is, wow, it's just like, it's been going down and to the right and down to the right. And it's just been in a downtrend ever since March of 2024. Didn't really have, let's see, when we had the altcoin season back in like November and December 2024, we had a little bit of price action here. But, you know, I can see right now we had like the left shoulder, head, and then the right shoulder. And that is a bearish chart pattern that sent the price down. And of course, we did go down from there. And now we're kind of like looking to see if is Book of Meme coin actually bottoming out here. That would be my first you know, worry, and the first order of business is Book of Meme coin actually bottoming out here? And it looks like it's trying to. Okay. What I see here is I see a little bit of a bullish divergence. Okay, you got obviously your lower lows here on the price. Okay. But then also what we have higher lows here on the RSI back in like February going into March of 2025 here. And so yeah, you got your bullish divergence that came in, and it looks like we bottomed out here on April 7th. Right after the Trump tariffs got paused, we saw a Book of Meme get as low as like 8,900 here. And what you're looking for with Book of Meme is you just want to see if you're able to create a bull trend. You're looking for higher highs and higher lows here. And the last notable high for Book of Meme was about 18,400 on March 24th here. Have we got above that yet? Doesn't look like it. We came close to it here on April 26th, where we got as high as 17,381. So close, but not really. Okay, so you're still looking for that higher high here on Book of Meme coin. But it does look like you are starting to make higher lows, okay, on the daily time frame here. And you're getting some support off the 21 EMA, so you got that going for you right now. The 50-day moving average, this green line, is coming down, and that's going to provide some resistance going forward. You do want to get above that green line at some point. That green line is currently at 17,200, so I think when Book of Meme gets up to like 17,000, you should start considering taking some profits if you're short-term day trading it. But if you're in it for the long haul, you're going to want to see it get above this 50-day moving average and then create like, you know, some support at the 17,000 area before you go to higher prices. And if you do go to higher prices, then you got to contend against this 100-day, which is sitting at 33,000, and then the 200-day, which is sitting at 47,000. So, I mean, there is some room for this thing to run. Just trying to get a recovery back to where it was. And I'm thinking, like, if it does recover, you might see some more resistance at like 63,900 here, where this thing was pretty much trading at back in like September and August and also December of 2024. And I think you'd do pretty well with yourself if you just get right back to where you were in 2024 at like 70,000 on Book of Meme Coin. You pretty much almost have like, I'm just roughly guessing this, but I think you probably have like almost like a 4x on this coin if it does that. Let's just measure it out here real quick. And if we go from like 13,000 where we're at right now back to like where we were at like 70,000 here on Book of Meme. Yeah, you got like a 400%. This thing could probably be a 5x, okay? And that makes sense because it is a meme coin, okay? Let's move on to Cardano here. Trade intuition with your jokes. Yeah, let's look at Cardano. Alrighty. Cardano currently trading at 68 cents. I think we talked about this coin yesterday, but why not talk about it again here? This thing is just, I see this as trading sideways as of now. You got yourself almost like, kind of like a potential bull flag that you're creating here. Alright. And this thing could keep trending downward and sideways until we get to... Actually, we're actually below the retracement level here, actually. So, I mean, you might see this thing come back down to the 0.236 retracement level at 57 cents here for Cardano, okay? Where you got some pretty solid support at that area. You have gone below that area here on April 7th, but you didn't actually close at 57 cents, okay? Actually, wait, I'll take that back. No, we actually did close at 58 cents. We came below it at, we went down to like 51 cents here. And then we closed at 58 cents. So I believe Cardano, you know, would have support at 58 cents at the very least here. But really, you're just looking, probably the first area of support is going to be this 21 EMA that's curving back up now. And that should give you some support here at like 67 cents, which is pretty much like, actually, let me see, 60, 67. We're just one or two pennies away from the 21 EMA. But yeah, you might see the 21 EMA come into play here, and at 67 cents, and you might just stay. I'm expecting Cardano probably to just stay at 67 cents. Maybe you might get fortunate enough to get some Cardano in the low 60s. But I see sideways for price action for Cardano, just looking at the charts here. Let's see, MACD is showing less buying pressure, and you might get some selling pressure later on this week. So yeah, I'm expecting this coin to just trade sideways this week. But when you actually do start getting more bullish here on Cardano, I just have this bull flag. Let me just show you guys here. This bull flag, that's the measured move here. You take the measured move to like where you could break out at maybe at like 70 cents here on Cardano. And I'm expecting Cardano to possibly get up to 84 cents here. And that makes sense because like you have like the 100-day moving average is also going to probably provide some resistance at 84 cents. And 84 cents is also where the 0.5 retracement level is for Cardano. So I'm expecting a short-term take profit target to be about 84 cents on Cardano. Let's see, Jim here in the chat saying Sui still has a lot of rumor money to give back. All right, that's interesting. What kind of money are you talking about here? Rumor money? Are you talking about like the Pokemon rumor? Is that what you're talking about with Sui? You might be right about that. All right. Let's take a look at some other cryptos here. I wanted to take a look at Pepe, and then I'll try to go get some more requests here from my TikTok streamers here. But let's take a look at the Pepe coin now, which is another meme coin for those who don't know. And all right, yeah, I do see some requests here. I'll get to your requests here, guys. Just let me go look at Pepe real quick, and then I'll look at some of these coins, some of the, like Dog with Hat and White Rock. Okay. Yeah, just give me a second here. All right. All right, so here we go. We got Pepe trading at 808, and we're just looking at the moving averages here, which probably going to give some resistance. I already see the resistance right now. Pepe is respecting the resistance from this 50-day moving average. This green line is coming down and providing resistance. That green line is currently at 847. So yeah, Pepe is respecting the 50-day moving average as resistance, but it's also getting a little bit of support I see from the 21 EMA. Okay. So we might be in a tight trading range on Pepe. Pepe might just go sideways for the next few days here, which I think is going to happen with a lot of these other coins. Some of them might go down, but I'm expecting like some sideways trading action for the most part on these cryptocurrencies. You know, probably most likely these cryptocurrencies are going to go sideways until we get the Federal Reserve interest rate decision on Wednesday, I believe. So be on the lookout for that. That's probably going to be when we start seeing the markets move again. I'm expecting just sideways trading action for now, and that's what I see for Pepe. As it probably bounces between the white line and the green line here, it's probably going to stay mostly at 800. Okay, and if you get Pepe, you know, for less than 800, I think you might be getting yourself a good deal. I highly doubt that we would come and revisit the lows here back in April when this thing got as low as like 578 and also 525 here back in March. You know, I doubt that, but it's still a possibility. Okay, so if you are trying to scoop up some cheaper Pepe, you could probably put some buy limit orders, and I think you won't have to really worry about this thing going lower than that. If it does go lower than that, and then you just put a stop loss probably at like 500, and I think you'll be fine if you're trading Pepe in the short term here. But if Pepe actually starts to become bullish, then you do have the 100-day moving average and the 200-day moving average as possible resistance and take profit target levels. That's sitting at like 1236 and 1287 here. So yeah, I think Pepe has like almost like a 50% move up on the price here. Let's just measure that out here. If we can just get right up to the 200-day moving average, you got yourself like almost like a 60% gainer on Pepe here. So that would be my first bullish price target, take profit target on Pepe here. All right, let's move on to some of these requests here. Let me start writing these things down. All right, so we got dog with hat. I believe that's ticker symbol with. And let's see. Yeah, I'm just going with White Rock. We'll take a look at White Rock as well. And let's see, did I miss any? I don't want to miss any of your coins requests here. Is this a request for Block and PNG? I don't think I've heard of those ones, but I'm interested in taking a look at them. If that's the case here. Ponky says if they didn't buy the last bottom, they're not gonna buy the next dip either. Yeah, there's some people who just don't get it. Like, you know, they don't know how to trade correctly. You're supposed to be buying the dips when you get a chance. But you know, I also understand that some people got burned because they thought they were buying the dip and it just kept on dipping some more. So yeah. Kevin, we just looked at Pepe. Hope you enjoyed that analysis. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button if you're enjoying the analysis here on these coins. And I appreciate the follows, guys. Definitely, if you want to see me show up on your you know, on your channel feed here, go ahead and hit that follow button so you see me on the next live stream. And I think, let's see, I want to make sure I got all the requests here. Block, PNG, yep, all right. And then HTX and Binance, okay. We can take a look at those. BNB. And I believe you put in those requests first before the other guys did. So we'll look at the Binance and HTX first, and then we'll look at the other ones up here. And yeah, All right. Yep. All right. We will look at dog with hat. That one's probably gonna be like the third request, the third coin down from my request list here. And Poppy Chulo. We already looked at Cardano earlier. I have a price target of 84 cents. Short-term price target for Cardano is at 84 cents. And of course, yes, I can never go one day without talking about Ripple XRP. We'll talk about that one as well. Okay. You asked me how much did I put into the dip. So I do have some cash. I did sell some Bitcoin at like $97,000 this week. And I sold like some other coins on Friday as well. Because I just saw some bearish divergences showing up on the charts, and I just want to have some cash because I felt like we were going to get a dip or go sideways here, and I feel like that's what's going on right now. Yeah. All right, let's get started here. We'll look at Binance Coin first, then HTX, and then Dog with Hat. Those are coming up right here. All right. So, BNB, Binance Coin. Currently trading at $588, down slightly, 1.87% today. Looks like I have some previous chart work here. About a few weeks ago, I was looking at this inverted head and shoulder pattern that was supposed to be bullish and send us up to higher prices here for Binance Coin, and you know, just measuring the inverted head and shoulder, right? I had this measured move from the top of the head, or in this case, this guy's upside down right now, but you got the head right here and the shoulders about right over here, okay? And I was just taking that measured move. You take it from the where the right shoulder's at here, and you would have seen this thing possibly go to, I mean, we have a price target on Binance Coin about 766. I believe 766 puts you at like almost where the 0.768 retracement level at, above $726. So Binance Coin, I believe, will go to $700 when it starts to become bullish here. But I mean, we gotta see it become bullish before we get excited, right? And with Binance Coin, I'll just get rid of the inverted head shoulder pattern. You guys obviously saw that. I don't think the inverted head and shoulder pattern is playing out as of now. But in order for Binance Coin to get to become bullish here, we need to start seeing some higher highs forming on the chart. Okay, we want to see Binance Coin get above this most recent high of 645. Okay, and we got as high here on April 22nd of like 621. So that's just not good enough. Okay. We got to see some higher highs here and start creating a bull trend for me to get excited about investing in Binance Coin here. Right now, you could be possibly making a higher low, but if we go lower out of this trend line here, then it gets invalidated and you're not really making higher lows anymore. Okay, let's see. The last notable higher low on the daily time frame would probably be like right over here. At like 575. Okay, if you lose 575 on Binance Coin, then you're not really making the case for being bullish on Binance Coin, to be honest with you. All right. So if we come down and revisit the lows here at like 518 and let's see, 508. You might be able to scoop up some cheap Binance Coin at that level, but I really don't see this chart is not really making a bullish case at all. You're just trading sideways for the most part between 525 and 640. You're just range bound between those two levels there. Okay. Let me turn the moving averages back on. Yeah, I think if Binance Coin can get above 645, that would put it above this 200-day moving average. 200-day moving average sitting at 635. Once you get above 200-day moving average, that's when I will say that an asset is can be considered bullish. Okay, when you're below the 200-day moving average, in my opinion, you're bearish, okay? Until you get above that red line. So all you have to do with buying this coin is just get up to like 630, 640, and you can start making the case that this thing is gonna start being bullish. And then of course, yeah, you want to see this thing get back to the retracement level here of 0.786 at $726. And then you could say, yeah, all right, buying this coin is starting to look bullish again. All right, moving on to some other coins here. We'll take a look at the HTX, and then we'll take a look at Dog with Hat. All right. HTX USD. Trying to figure out what exchange do I want to look at on this one. Maybe BitGet. Let's try BitGet. I see we have some new people here on the YouTube live stream. I see AMG and Michael here. You want me to take a look at Dot and Rune? All right, I'll add that to the request here. And what else? I think that's a request from AMG asking for Kibshi. That's interesting. That's a new coin to me. I never heard of that one. All right. Hello, Kalim. Is that a request for WorldCoin? I'll add that in there as well. And I might have too many requests again. I appreciate the request here, guys, but you guys are gonna put me to work for like the next hour or two here, going over these coins. All right. Hey, yeah, I'm glad to help you out. We'll take a look. We're gonna have to look at WorldCoin later on because there is a few more coins ahead of you that we got to look at. I have a few more requests here, but let's get started here with HTX. HTX is currently trading, well, we'll call it 180 right now. About 0.000018 pennies. This is what the chart's looking like on HTX. Looks like you've seen some better days here back in December of 2024, where you had the altcoin season. This thing got as high as 39.50. Wow. Okay, that's a big drop. Wow, that's a big candle too. Big green candle. But I mean, for the most part, this thing was trading at 2,200, and that's still a steep drop. All right, yeah, okay. I'm reading this. I'm sorry, I read this a little bit wrong. It's not 180. It's 1,800. 1,808 is what this thing is trading at. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. All right, sorry about that. Actually, let me leave it. I'll leave it like that. Okay. All right. So what do you got going here for HTX? HTX currently below the 200-day moving average, so I'm automatically going to be bearish on this coin until this thing gets above the 200-day moving average, sitting at like 1892. Once you get above 1892, then you can start saying, yeah, you got a bullish case starting to form here on this coin. Then you got some more resistance that will probably come at this 100-day moving average, sitting at like 1970. Let me go ahead and turn on the VRVP here real quick, and we'll see what the levels might be for this coin. So you are above the value area high and the POC. So that could mean that this coin is considered overvalued compared to where it's been over the last few months here. Actually going back to like July of 2024. This thing is probably considered overvalued just because a lot of people bought this coin. Most likely they bought this coin at the POC at like 1,200. So if this thing continues being bearish, you might see this thing drag its butt all the way down to like 12 or 1,300 before you get a reaction and go up to higher prices. So I would just be careful. Put your stop losses in case we do go down some more on this coin. You know, and I'd probably put the stop loss below these candle wicks here. Back here when we got as low as 1482. So maybe put the stop loss at like 1450. And if you lose, 1450, then you're probably going to continue on the downtrend that you've been on this coin here. So you got to tread careful here. This thing has run up a little bit, just like all the other cryptos in the month of April here. But if this thing does decide to become bullish, like I said, I think you got to get yourself above that 200-day moving average at like 1900, 1971. And yeah, I'm sorry, no, I read that as the 100-day move. You got to get above the 200-day moving average at 1892, and then you're probably going to see some more resistance at 1971. Okay, those are your short-term price targets on this coin. And then let me just do a quick Fibonacci. Do I really want to measure that candle wick? Yes. I think I'm gonna measure from the body closes here. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Right here down to where we got as low over here. Okay. You might be targeting. You're gonna probably want to see this thing come back to the 0.618 retracement level, and I got this thing. You can barely read the number. I'm having a hard time seeing that number. Let's see. Try to move this here a little bit. Okay, so like 28.89 is probably what you want to target for this coin as your ultimate take profit target. Okay, which is about 1,000 points higher than where you're at right now. That would be my ultimate take profit target on this coin. All right, let's move on to Dog with Hat. All right. Hopefully you guys are still in the chat here. You're still watching. Like I said, we have a bunch of requests here to go through. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get all the requests in here. You guys keep me very busy with my TikTok streamers here. I see another request for Pendle. I might be able to get to that one. Remind me if I forget before the end of the stream. That's probably going to be the last coin I look at, to be honest. So yeah, here we are. We're looking at Dog with Hat right now. And Dog with Hat currently trading at 54 cents. Let's see. Where has this thing been? Where could it possibly go? So, Dog with Hat was one of the cryptocurrencies, one of the meme coins that had a pretty good November and December of last year. And then we had the brutal downtrend in the markets for like January going into February here. And you're just trying to see, when you see a brutal downtrend like this, you're just trying to see if, like, are you going to actually bottom out? Do you see any signs of bottoming out on this coin? And I think we might. Let me get rid of this previous chart work here. Just cleaning up the charts here. So we'll look at that Dog with Hat. And the lowest point that you got here was about roughly 30 cents. And you could probably count that as almost like a double bottom. So you don't want to be involved with Dog with Hat if it goes below 30 cents, because that probably means that we're continuing the downtrend here on Dog with Hat. So you probably don't want to stick around if that's the case, if it's going to continue to go to lower prices here. But yeah, Dog with Hat, right? It's trying to start the beginning of a bull trend here. I see some higher lows forming here. Could this possibly be another higher low before we go on to higher prices here? You're getting some resistance from the 50-day moving average, so it is respecting the TA here. The 50-day moving average is acting as resistance, this green line. And yeah, that 50 days, I think we've seen this with another coin here. This cryptocurrency is probably going to get stuck in between the 21, which is this white line at 52 cents, and the green line at 59 cents. I think we're going to probably just trade sideways for the most part up until we get the Federal Reserve interest rate decision on Wednesday. But ultimately, for us to be bullish on Dog with Hat, we want to get above this most recent notable high here at 78 cents. Yeah, 78 cents is the high water mark that we're looking to get above. And then you could say that, yeah, you actually are making higher highs now on Dog with Hat. And if you're making higher lows and you're starting to make higher highs, then you could say that this thing has bottomed out, and this thing could be off to the races to higher prices, because I know these meme coins are capable of doing a lot of volatility to the upside and also downside. But if this thing starts moving up and getting some steam rolling here, we could see Dog with Hat get some resistance at that $1.09 area, which is where the 100-day moving average is sitting at. And then we could also get some more resistance from the 200-day moving average at $1.54. And you basically got a 3x if you could just get back above the 200-day moving average on this coin here. And once you do get above the 200-day moving average, you know how I feel about getting above the 200-day moving average. When you're above the 200-day moving average, then you can say that you're back in a bull market again on the asset that you're looking at here. So ultimately, you want to get above that 200-day moving average, which is sitting at $1.54, and then you can say, yeah, this thing is back to being bullish again. Okay, and those are your short-term and medium-term take profit targets. You could just use the moving averages as your guidance to when you should take profit. All right, we'll look at White Rock and then Art Block for the next two coins here. White Rock Finance, okay. I think some of these decentralized finance coins, I believe White Rock is one of them, they're going to do pretty well in the next few months and later on this year. As more people start doing decentralized finance, I can see more money going into those coins. Hey, I see Ross is in the live stream. Good to see you, Ross. And I have a request here for Giga. I'll put that. We're going to probably save that for last. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to take any more requests. I have a pretty good list here already. But appreciate your request there. If I don't get to your request, or if I forget, just let me know and just say, hey, Damien, I think you might have forgot this coin that I requested. But if it gets towards the end of the live stream and you're still requesting coins here, then I'll probably just have to save it for tomorrow, to be honest. But I'll try to get the Giga if I can. Oh, okay. So you're saying that White Rock just partnered with MasterCard? That's a good thing. That's good to hear. Good to see. And yeah, Michael, we're gonna get to Dot and Rune later on. I got you on that list. I got that. And Trade Intuition's talking about buying the dip. Is that a video, or do you have a an actual like tutorial video as to like when people should be buying the dip? Because I think that's a good thing to be teaching people. Like, when should you be buying the dip and when should you avoid buying the dip? But anyways, let me get into White Rock here. White Rock is currently trading at 5,300 points here. And I'm liking the chart. Yeah. I'm liking it because I see notable higher lows here. So you got a higher low on the you got a low here on White Rock around March of 2025. You got down to like 2707. And then you got another higher low kind of creating like some higher low valleys here, okay? And this is currently sitting at like 4,700. And then could this possibly be like another higher low that's forming right here, like 5,200? I'm liking it because this thing has this is what you do want to see. You want to see higher lows, but at some point you want to start seeing higher highs on this chart, okay? And the last high notable high that you made was back here on April 2nd when you got as high as like 9,787. So that's going to be your target for now. You want to see this coin get above 9,800, okay? And once it gets above 9,800, then, you know, it could be off to the races on this coin, especially if it's DeFi. I like DeFi because it's it has a useful case, okay? If you're helping people manage their money, then there's potential to make money. So I like that, okay? better than a meme coin, in my opinion. But you do want to get above this high here at some point that you made here at like on March 4th. You want to get higher than 17,440. And if you do, you'll basically be tripling your money in this coin. So this coin has the potential to do a 3x. But you can see like back then in March, it was overheated, right, on the RSI of like 96 here. So that was the alarm bells are ringing, saying that you should be selling this coin when you see it get overbought like that. Okay, and yeah, you got a very steep drop in price on March 5th here. This thing went down 64% in one day. Yikes. Wow. So I'm expecting that there will be some people who got caught off guard here at like 13,700 roughly. There'll probably be some selling pressure and some resistance at that level. So that should be probably your take profit, your long-term take profit target is going to be about 13,000 on this coin here, okay? And I really can't do anything with the moving averages because this thing hasn't been around long enough for us to get some moving averages. You do have like the white line, the 21 EMA is that 21 EMA is usually sticks to where the price is. If you see the price get too far above it, that probably means you're overbought and you should consider selling if it does get above the 21 EMA. Because look at us, right? When we got above the 21 EMA, we got really far above the 21 EMA and it came right back down, okay, to the 21 EMA. So in that case, that's how you know you're overbought, when you get too far away from the 21 EMA. Same thing with getting oversold on the 21 EMA. If you get too far below it, you'll most likely come right back to it. As you can see, like back here in March, we kind of did that with the 21, with us being below the 21 EMA here. All right, I think that's enough for White Rock. Yeah, you can easily game plan this coin, right? If you buy now, you can put your stop loss like 4,500, and if you lose that, you're losing that low, this higher low here, and you might be starting to go into a downtrend if you lose 4,500. So I'd probably put the stop loss at 4,500. I'd be buying near 5,000 roughly here, and I'm looking for take profit at 9,800 as my first target, and then of course 1,300 back here. 13,000 should probably be your long-term take profit target on this coin. All right, we'll move on to Arc Block. And let me just take a look at my YouTube streamers, see what y'all saying. Oh, and I see MMA Squires in the chat. Hey MMA, good to see you in the chat. I think I saw I saw your son and your daughter. You guys are doing some cool things on this Sunday. All right. So if you wanted to buy the dip trade intuition, how would you do it? You hate buying and it goes lower. Is there a particular asset you want me to look at where we can figure out, you know, when's a good time to buy the dip? Let's see if I could do that with this next coin here, Arc Block. Let's look at Arc Block and we'll see like when was a good time to buy the dip and when was a bad time to buy the dip. Arc Block on Coinbase here. Okay. All right. Yeah. So this is probably a coin where we can figure out, you know, when was a good time to buy the dip and when was a bad time to buy the dip. Let me get rid of the moving averages here real quick. I'm gonna do it kind of like a naked chart. Actually, let me I'll just do completely naked here. All right. So we're looking at Arc Block here. Currently trading at $1.12. And you know, you probably hear, you know, if you've been trading and investing, at some point you probably heard people tell you, yeah, man, you got to buy the dip. Buy the dip. But like, what happens if it just keeps dipping, right? You're not going to feel good about buying the dip if it goes lower from where you bought it at, right? So, all right. So we'll get Arc Block here. Looks like Arc Block, we kind of topped out here at like $4.73 back here in May of 2024. Okay. And people probably thought like, oh, when this thing got to like $4, I could buy the dip, right? I could buy the dip. But look, the thing just kept on dipping some more. Okay, and then it's probably like somebody probably thought this was a good area to buy at like $3 because that was like the most notable. You know, if we just go back here, this is what the chart looks like. You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy here at $3. Okay, because that's the last low that we made. But the problem is that you kept going lower than that, right? So buying the dip doesn't always work, especially if you're in a downtrend, right? And this thing kept on going down and down. Here in August, we got as low as like $1.16. Was that buying the dip? I mean, that was the lowest price there, and then it did shoot up a little bit towards the end of August, and then you went sideways for the most part. But yeah, this thing just kept on going down and dipping and dipping and dipping. So yeah, I think this is a good candidate to be looking at as why would you want to buy the dip if this thing keeps going down? Okay. All right. So what you need to be looking at with technical analysis here is you need some indicators to help you determine if you're actually buying a dip or if this thing could go a little bit lower than that. Okay. So let me go ahead and I'll put on some indicators here. I got the moving averages here. I'll get rid of the moving averages for now. All right. But let's go back to this example here, okay? Where you were basically buying, you know, or you were thinking that you were buying the dip at like $3 here on this coin. All right. And yeah, you were buying if you were thinking about buying the dip here, okay, you lost that level there, you know, $3, and you kept on going lower. What you had going here is you were getting some bearish divergence. Okay, so you have like high water mark here at like 77, and then you have another high water mark here on the other side at like 70, 78, and then 75. So right here was your bearish divergence. Okay. And then, of course, you're making higher highs on the price here. Okay. So you got some slight bearish divergence. This was showing you that you were topping out here. Okay. And yeah, whenever you see bearish divergence, one of two things could happen. Or actually, one of three things, actually. You could continue going higher with bearish divergence, but you have to start making higher highs on the other side to continue the momentum of going higher, but you didn't because you actually formed a lower high here. Okay, so then the next thing that could happen is you go sideways. So we actually did go sideways here on ARC block. Okay, but then the other thing that could happen with bearish divergence is that you actually continue going down. Okay, instead of going sideways, and that's what happened here with the bearish divergence. It played out. And you know, you basically, people here thought they were buying the dip back here at like $2, and this thing kept going down. Okay, now at some point you have to figure out where you're going to put your stop losses, because if you don't use stop losses, then you're going to watch this thing continue going down and losing more money, right? So if I was going to buy the dip here at like $3, I would have put the stop loss probably at like 275. Okay, and if it gets triggered, then that means we're continuing going down. Okay, because you have like this candle wick here at like 277. I would have put the stop loss at 275 or 272 or somewhere around that area, and you're preventing yourself from losing more money when you're buying the dip here. Okay, but then someone probably thought they were buying the dip here at like $2.20 when this thing got down to like $2.20 back in this area. You would have probably strategized, and you need to put a stop loss somewhere to prevent yourself from losing more money. I probably would have put the stop loss like right underneath this sideways trading range over here at like $1.84. If I bought it at $2, I put the stop loss at $1.84. If we lose $1.84, then that probably means something's still wrong with this asset. Okay, but anyways, that's a little bit of tutorial about buying the dip and how you know, you got to put stop losses to prevent yourself from losing more money if buying a dip, if that wasn't the low that you thought you were going to get. Okay. But anyways, let's see what this crypto could do going forward in the future. I hope you guys were able to learn a little bit about how to trade and how to buy the dip and using stop losses. Okay. But yeah, let's see what this cryptocurrency could possibly do. Let's go ahead and turn the moving averages on now. This thing was trying to get above the 200-day moving average, so that is nice to see. Okay. 200-day moving average is at $1.17 right now for ARC block. Once you get above $1.17, I could feel comfortable calling this thing being bullish again. You are in the process of possibly creating a higher low here at some point, and you have got above some of these candlewick highs here. Let's see, the last high, significant high, was like $1.22. And today you got as high as like $1.39. So you definitely are creating higher highs. So you're creating higher highs and higher lows. I can feel comfortable about this crypto, this asset being in a bull trend, and at least starting a bull trend and getting out of the downtrend that it's been in. Okay. So maybe the pain and suffering is over for this crypto here. And then you just want to see this thing continue making higher lows and higher highs. But right now, not a good day to buy, I would say, because your RSI is at 76 right now. You are currently overbought right now on this crypto. Doesn't mean that you can't stay overbought, but just be careful that you might, with this thing already being up 27% today, you might be in for a nasty correction as this thing tries to make another higher low at some point. Okay. But if you don't get that nasty correction, I would expect that this thing kind of trades sideways at the 200-day moving average at $1.17, or basically where we're at right now at $1.14. I would expect this thing probably go sideways, create a bull flag like it kind of did here, like it was doing back in the end of April here. And yeah, I would probably expect this thing to go sideways, probably like some of these other cryptos that I'm expecting to go sideways until we get the interest rate decision on Wednesday. Are they going to cut rates, or are they going to keep them where they're at? Guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates on Wednesday here? That would be really nice. That would get the markets really excited and going to higher prices here. If they don't, then what do you think? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. You know, about the Federal Reserve. Are they going to cut rates here? Fun guy, you put a request in for Turbo. I'll try to get to it. We do have some more coins to look at here, but I will try to get to it. Okay, appreciate the request. All right, so I think we did enough analysis here on ARC block. We'll get the PNG next, and then Dot and Rune. And then probably we'll look at Ripple after that as well. Okay. PNG. Thanks for that question, Trade Intuition. I hope I was able to give you a little bit of education about buying the dip there and using stop losses. So we got PNG here. What is it? Pangolin coin. Currently trading at 13 cents, down about 1.57% today. Let's see. What is this thing? What is this thing? What is it? I'm just getting familiar with the chart. This thing had a pretty good December, obviously, like a lot of these other altcoins, but it's been in a downtrend ever since then. Since you're in a downtrend, you want to know, is the pain and suffering and the bleeding, is it going to stop? It looks like it's trying to stop. It looks like you might be bottoming out here on PNG, just eyeballing it real quick here. Alright, so the last significant low here was about 10 cents. Okay, so I would probably put the stop loss at like 9 cents on this coin, okay? Because if we lose 10 cents on Pangolin here, then that probably means you're still in the downtrend and this thing is not ready to bottom out yet. Okay, But I do see it trying to start a bull run, a bull trend here. Trying. I would say this thing is not going to be in a bull trend until you get above the last notable high here. Try to get above these candle wicks here. Jeez, this thing went as high as like 24 cents. Yeah, so you want to see a higher high before you can start feeling comfortable about this thing bottoming out and being in a bull trend. Let's see, 24 cents. That was right where the 50-day moving average was on March 21st here. So yeah, looking at the moving averages here, the 200-day moving average, I want to see this thing get above the 200-day moving average at 22 cents and also get above 24 cents, which was that last high that it was at. So once this thing gets above 24 cents, then you can say this thing is making higher highs. And then you just want to see if this thing's going to make higher lows. Okay. Right now, the 50-day is acting as resistance in the short term. Okay. 50-day is currently sitting at 15, almost 16 cents here. So if you're short-term day trading this, you could probably sell at 16 cents. And then you want to be buying right where the 21 EMA is kind of like giving some support here. Roughly where you're at right now, you should be buying, right? Yeah. 21 EMA providing support. If you lose the 21 EMA, then I'm going to become more bearish on this coin. I want that 21 EMA to be respected as a support. This line should be giving us some support here. If you lose the 21 EMA, then yeah, I would start to become more bearish on this coin. But I think short-term wise, your short-term target is try to get above the 50-day at 16 cents. Then long-term target, you want to get above 22 and 24 cents. Once you get above the 200-day moving average, I would start to become cautiously optimistic and more bullish on this coin. All right, moving on to some other coins here. We'll take a look at DOT and Rune, and then we'll look at XRP after that. DOT, USD, okay, Polkadot. Oh, I've got some previous chart work here. Let me go ahead and get rid of this falling wedge. So yeah, you're basically in a falling wedge for the most part on this coin. We're looking at Polkadot now, currently trading at $3.94. And yeah, I still have some previous chart work here. Already I can tell you that I got this red line here at $4.08. That's where some of the most recent highs were at for this coin. Also, you can see that we had some resistance at that level when we got above it. So $4.08 is going to be your short-term take profit target on Polkadot going forward. And Polkadot is kind of doing the same thing as PNG over here. All right. You're trying to use this 21 EMA as support. You're going to get resistance from this green line, the 50-day moving average, which is currently sitting at like $4.50. So if you're short-term trading this this crypto, you can just use the moving averages as a guidance as to like when you should be taking profit. So once it hits like 450, I would start taking profit, or actually 447 and at this point. Once you start seeing it get up to that 50-day moving average, I would take profit if I'm short-term day trading this. And then you should be buying right now, actually, this cryptocurrency at $3.94 if you're short-term day trading it. And you're hoping that this 21 EMA gets respected and you're using it as your support line here. Okay, as this thing curves up and goes to higher prices, you do want to see that. Looks like stochastic RSI is actually kind of low, so I would, if I was short-term day trading, I would consider buying it right now. And I'll probably put the stop loss right below where we're at well, if you want it tight, you know, you put it like right below the daily candle here. We got as low as like $3.90, so maybe like $3.80 could be where you put your stop loss, or you can put your stop loss below this other candle wick here, low at like 369, so maybe like 365 could be your stop loss. And if you get stopped out, then you get stopped out. It means we're still in a downtrend on this coin. But if you don't, then like I said, you're looking for $4.47 as your first take profit target, and then you're looking for $4.80 as your next take profit target. And then of course, if you're long-term investing in this coin, then you're probably going to wait until you get to the 200-day moving average at like 557, and that should be your medium to long-term take profit target on this cryptocurrency. All right. Okay. Moving on to Rune, and then we'll look at XRP. Let's see. I'm looking at my YouTube streamers. All right. We got the likes to match the amount of people watching. I like that. Appreciate you guys hitting that like button. Don't forget to hit the like button so we can get this live stream out to some more people who need some help with the charts. All right, so we're looking at the Rune USD, currently trading at $1.26 right now. This coin, okay, had a pretty good December and January, like a lot of these cryptocurrencies, and then February and March has been really bad and brutal. It looks like it's bottoming out. We're trading sideways right here at $1.18 roughly is where this thing has been trading at for like the last couple of months here. All right. Okay, Rune. This is very easy to strategize. You guys could possibly put your stop loss at like 90 cents here. If you get stopped out, that means this thing is continuing its downtrend, and you probably don't want to be a part of that. If it's going to continue losing money, why would you want to be a part of that? Okay. But if you don't get stopped out, and this thing actually becomes bullish, you can see that right now we're getting squeezed. Just like some of the other cryptocurrencies that we looked at. The 50-day is acting as resistance. The 21 EMA is acting as support. You know, you put your loose stop loss at 90 cents, but I think you possibly, if you want to make it tighter, you can put the stop loss at this candle wick low over here of about $1.20, and you're hoping that you don't get stopped out. Okay. But yeah, this thing looks like it's going to try to get some support from the 21 EMA. And then if you do start going to higher prices, I mean, where's the next resistance level? Right now, I see 100-day could provide resistance at $2.48. So you basically be doubling your money at that point. And then the 200-day moving average is sitting at $3.25. So you basically be almost tripling your money if it gets to that level there. So once this thing gets above the 200-day moving average at 327, I would start to become cautiously optimistic and bullish on this cryptocurrency. But I like this. This looks like we are bottoming out at like $1.10, $1.20. Okay, I do like this. Yeah, that's very interesting. I might throw my hat in the ring on this one. I might actually try to buy this thing today or tomorrow. I like this chart. Let's turn on the VRVP here, and we'll try to get some more levels here where there could be some resistance. All right, so the VRVP, we're just using data going back to like September of 2024. You got your POC, this blue line is at $1.34. Okay, so that might be where this thing wants to go next. And then after that, like the volume just drops like a rock. And you don't have a significant high volume node until like $2.30. So that might be your first take profit target. And then after that, you got the value area high sitting at like almost $4. So this thing could be a 3x or a 4x if it just gets back to the value area high. Okay, and you can see that the value area high has been respected. You got sideways trading action at like $4 for the most part. You even had like this candle with low at like $4.21, and then yeah, $4.22. So yeah, I would probably put long-term take profit target at 420. How about that for a target price? I see some more requests coming in. I don't know if I've been live streaming for about almost an hour now, and I still got some more coins to look at here. I don't know if I'll be able to get to your requests here, guys. You'll have to like look for me tomorrow and make those requests. But I'm gonna try to get to these other ones, and I'll see if you guys are still there and I got the energy to do it. Then yeah, we could probably take a look at those coins. I see a request for Pengu and Zbeck. If I have the energy to do it, I'll try to do it. But definitely appreciate the requests here. You guys are keeping me busy all day today on this live stream. All right. Let's see. We looked at Rune. Rune looks good. I might want to try to get involved with that one. I'll have to do some more research. See if I want to stay in it for the long term here. Let's look at Ripple. We haven't looked at Ripple yet. XRP coming up on deck. All right, so we'll look at the XRP now. Ripple currently trading at $2.17. I got the VRVP here, ready to go. And what you're looking for is you're looking for XRP to continue climbing up to higher prices, and it'll probably get some resistance, some significant resistance at this POC, this blue line here. Point of control currently sitting at $2.41. Yeah, I think that's going to be a tough nut to crack. Once you get past $2.40, the volume drops here on the VRVP, and you could see Ripple try to go up to like $3 in a short amount of time here. And then you got like maybe some more resistance at the value area high at $3.22. But I know you Ripple guys, you XRP Army guys think this thing is going to go higher than that, right? Of course. And just using the Fibonacci analysis here, where we saw Ripple get as high as like $3.40, and we saw it as low as 50 cents back in November of 2024. You got the 1618 saying that this thing could go up to like $5.21. Okay, so that's my first profit target on Ripple. Okay, I actually own some Ripple myself, and I plan on selling it when it gets to $5. But if you want to stick around for the long term here, you might see Ripple get to like $8. Okay, that's using the 2618 fib extension, and then you might even see it get up to like $11. The 3.618 fib extension. Those are some really long-term possible targets for Ripple, just based off of this Fibonacci analysis here. And then the bearish case for Ripple, if Ripple is still in a downtrend and it's not able to make higher highs and actually start a bull trend here, then you do have the value area low sitting at $1.73 for Ripple, so that could be where you could probably scoop up some cheaper Ripple. Okay, we did see Ripple go below the value area low here, this white line. We saw it go to like $1.61. Okay, so if you're lucky enough to get some Ripple at $1.60 or $1.70, then I think you're doing all right for yourself, right? But if we lose $1.60, $1.70, then we could come down to $1.48, $1.50 is the next high volume node. And then of course, if that doesn't hold, then you got another drop in the volume here, and then you get the high volume node here at like $1.12, okay, or Ripple. So those are your bearish targets. If you're bearish on Ripple, or if you're trying to just scoop up some cheaper Ripple, you could probably get some at those prices. But for the most part, I think we're just range bound on Ripple until Bitcoin goes to like 100 all-time highs of like $109,000, and then you're probably gonna see Ripple go to $3 in short order after that. Okay. All right, so that's Ripple. Yeah, that's gonna be what my thoughts are about Pengu. I really don't know. Is that a meme coin? You're gonna have to let me know in the chat here. What is Pengu? I really have no thoughts about it because I'm not invested in it, and I really haven't really looked at that coin, to be honest. All right, so we looked at Ripple. What else do we got here? We got to look at Kibshi and WorldCoin are the next ones up on deck, guys. Let me I gotta get some more water here. Hold on a second. Just give me about a minute here. I'll be back. All right. Hopefully I didn't lose you guys. Gotta go get some more water here. Ripple. Yeah, we looked at Ripple. Like I said, short-term take profit target $2.40, but you're really looking to see $3 at some point here for Ripple. All right. Moving on to Kibshi. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Kibshi. This looks like a meme coin here. Kibo Shib. Let's take a look at it on Mexi. Alrighty. This coin trading at 3,380 right now. It has seen some better days here back in November and December when this thing was at like 27,700 roughly. We got the VRVP here, giving us ideas like where the high volume nodes might be. Right now, the POC is currently this blue line at like 3,500. Once you get past 5,400, okay, you got a drop in the volume here on the VRVP, and then the next high volume node is at like 12,300. Okay. And then you got another drop in the volume here, and then the value area high says that this thing could probably go to 18,000. And if it does that, that's like almost a 6x. But let me go ahead and pull up the moving averages here. See if there's any resistance from the moving averages. Not really. This thing hasn't really been trading that long. But I mean, you have the beginning of a 100-day moving average, which could provide some resistance at like 10,000. Okay. Is this thing bottoming out yet? It looks like it's trying to bottom out. Are we creating some higher highs yet? Let's see. Got to go through the list of, is this thing actually bottoming out yet? So my next thing that I want to see is I want to see it create higher highs. And we had a high here on Friday a couple of days ago at like 5,489. And then we had another high here. Actually, that wasn't a couple of days. That was like about a week ago. And then we had another high here at like 5,400. Okay. But is that higher than these highs? I don't think so. So we haven't made higher highs yet. Okay. So we're still working. We want to see this thing. If it is the beginning of a bull trend, we want to see this thing get above that high here of like 6,630. And then get above this other high here of like 8,000. And then you could say that, yeah, this thing is on its way to making higher highs and higher lows here. But yeah, I mean, it's in the process. It's in the process, yeah. I like the fact that the stochastic RSI is low. So you could be buying the lows here, and this thing just shoots up. You got a potential where you can just put the stop loss right at like 2,800. If you're buying it here at like 3,300. And you know, what's that? What is the stop loss? If I bought right now and I put the stop loss at like 2,800, you're risking about 15%. But you're risking about 15% to possibly get like almost like a 3x. If this thing gets back up to like the 100-day moving average, okay? And then this thing could possibly 6x maybe? I think we said that earlier. This thing is 6x. If it gets up to like where it was trading at back in December, you got like a 700% gainer. Yeah. Good luck with that. This one could possibly make you a lot of money if we see more money going into crypto and meme coins here. All right, we'll move on to WorldCoin. All right, WorldCoin. WRLD. USD. We'll take a look at our Mexi. So I believe this is WorldCoin, currently trading at 8,797 right now. And yeah, WorldCoin has seen better days here. Yeah, that's for sure. Like back in like in March of 2024, this thing was trading at like 9 pennies. So this thing has lost like 90% of its value. Yikes. Okay. All right. So now that we know that this thing has been beaten down and dragged through the mud, is it bottoming out yet? And are we trying to create a bull trend or a reversal of the downtrend here? We might be, but I don't see any solid evidence on this coin bottoming out yet. Okay, or at least changing the downward trend here. It is nice to see that this thing got above the 21 EMA, this white line. Okay, so that's a start. But yeah, let me look at the RSI here. It looks like you were trying to do some bullish divergence with some higher lows here. And of course, this thing has been making lower lows on the price, right? Roughly. It's pretty obvious. But if I have to draw it out, that's what it looks like, right? So you got bullish divergence. It kind of got a little bit violated back here on April 18th. But you redeemed yourself. You got yourself back up to higher prices than middle of April here. So that's good to see. What you want to see next is, let's just try to get above that 200-day moving average. Because if you get above the 200-day moving average, then you can make the case that this thing is trying to be bullish. You can be cautiously optimistic. But like, I mean, this thing has gotten above the 200-day moving average, like back here in December and in January, only for it to get rejected and come back down again. So I don't know. I mean, you need to get above the 200-day moving average, and you need to stay above the 200-day moving average in my eyes. And right now, that 200-day moving average is at like 0.012 pennies. So once you get up to like 12,000, then you could be cautiously optimistic that you're bottoming out and changing the trend here on WorldCoin. Okay. But yeah, let's try to get above a penny, right? 0.012 pennies here, and then we can start being cautiously optimistic on this coin. Okay. All right. Moving on to, I want to make sure I did the ones that I got requested. We'll do Pendle, and then Giga, and then Turbo. Let me just check my chat here. Oh, Porky. Porky's in the chat. Okay, Porky. Let me just try to read what you guys said here. Porky says, hey, how we doing today? Porky, we are looking for sales and discounts on our cryptocurrencies. I think most of these coins are going to go sideways until Wednesday when we get the interest rate decision. They'll probably go sideways for the best case scenario. Worst case, we could go a little bit lower on some of these coins. And then Porky said, how you doing, Trade Intuition? And we got Trade Intuition here saying, meet Damien, awesome. How long have you been trading? How long have you been sharing your trading knowledge? Trade Intuition, those are some good questions. I've been investing since I was 18 years old. Okay? As soon as I was able to buy my first stock, I bought Boeing and Google back in the day. So I've always been investing and looking at charts and looking at doing fundamental analysis, reading quarterly reports and earnings and stuff like that with stock market. And then I got involved in crypto in 2017. My buddy who got me into crypto was talking about Bitcoin when it was at $1,000 in like 2016. And then I saw Bitcoin go to $2,000, and then I saw Bitcoin go to $3,000. And then I was like, okay, this thing can move. It's got some legs to it. And I bought my first Bitcoin at like $3,000 back in 2017. I sort of go all the way up to $19,000 and do a round trip all the way back down to like $3,000 again, and I didn't sell. I was like, all right, so I know what this thing's capable of doing, and I bought some Ethereum at like $200, $300 back in like 2019. So if that gives you an idea, I've been involved in trading and investing for years now. I would say I first got invested. Like I said, I started trading and investing in crypto back in 2017. So that's like, what, 8 years ago? And then I've been taking the trading really serious the last couple of years now. Doing leverage trading. And I've been sharing my knowledge about trading and investing. And I started this YouTube channel in December of 2023. Is when I've been sharing my knowledge. And yeah, I also created the TikTok channel as well around the same time, December of 2023. So I've been sharing the knowledge for about a year and a half now, roughly. Thanks for the question, though. Let's see. We got Michael here saying for the 250 EMA, what indicator do I use? Okay. So the 200-day, I color the 200-day as red, okay, and the 100-day moving average is blue, and the 50-day moving average is green, and then the 21 EMA is white. That's how I do my charts here, and I use like the 5 moving average indicator here on TradingView. Right, let me just show my TikTok guys here real quick, and then I just go into settings here. And you got like 5 different moving averages. So I do the 21, the 50, the 100. I don't use the 150. And then I got the 200-day moving average. And then the style, right? Like I said, I don't use all those moving averages. I just use 4 of them. And I got the 21 as the white one. I got the 50 as the green, the 100 as the blue, and the 200 as red. That's how I do the charts. All right. Yeah, we just talked about Keep Sheet. And then let's see. Trade Intuition saying, Porky, doing good. Just looking for topics to talk about on my stream today. And you think you found your topic. Okay. And then AMG, yep, thank you. Porky saying Trade Intuition, very nice. And then Porky is looking forward to a pullback. Yeah. I got a little bit of cash because I sold some Bitcoin at like $96,000 and $95,000. And then I sold some AI16Z and I sold some virtual protocol on Friday. So I got some cash willing to buy the dip if we see some dips here later on this week. But yeah, let's look at the Pendo and then Giga and then Turbo. I got those coins coming up next here. All right, let's see. Pendo. Pendle currently trading at $3.20 here. As I start to zoom in on the chart here. Pendle is, let's see. We had a bottom here in August of like $1.80, 81, and we revisited those lows again here in March at like $1.81 again. So, is this a double bottom, right? Is this one big giant double bottom? Do I want to chart that out? Maybe. I think yeah. So we know like the low water mark here is $1.80. If this thing loses $1.80, you do not want to be involved with this thing because that probably means we're going to lower prices. And do you really want to stick around for that? So you can put your stop loss at like $1.78 roughly, and just hope that it never hits. Because if it does, you are gonna lose a lot of money, and you're probably gonna continue losing a lot more money with this crypto. All right, but all right, so now we know $1.78 would be our stop loss. Is this thing going to higher prices? Are we making higher highs? Okay, Are we reversing the downtrend? Well, I'm here on the daily chart, and I do see like we have some the high watermark. The last high that I can see here was like $3.80. Did you get above that? Here on Friday, we saw us get as high as 376. So the answer is no. You're not making higher highs yet. But that doesn't mean that you got to count yourself out of this one. It just means that you haven't made a higher high yet. Okay? You're getting some resistance from the 100-day moving average right now. Okay? All the traders and investors are eyeballing that, and they're respecting the 100-day moving average. 100-day moving average is currently at 369. So let's see this thing get above 369 and actually use this 100-day moving average as support. But ultimately, you want to get above the 200-day moving average, because the 200-day moving average, is red line, is currently sitting at $4.04. Once you get above $4.04, I would start to be cautiously optimistic about this this cryptocurrency and start to become a little bit more bullish. But as long as you're below the 200-day moving average, I'm going to be bearish. Okay. But let's see. Let's get rid of the moving averages real quick here, and we'll try to look at the VRVP here. See if we got some levels to look at. All right. So you got the POC currently at $3.38, and then if you get past $3.38, you got a drop in the VRVP volume here, and then you got the next high volume node at 387 or 390 roughly, and then yeah, $4.11. So yeah, you're targeting $4 as your near-term take profit target, and then once you get past $4, then the volume drops off again, and then you could see high volume node here of like $4.97 or basically $5. And then you got the value area high sitting at 538, this white line here. And I would say that should be your long-term take profit target on Pendle. Because then after that, I mean, you're pushing your luck. Don't be greedy. You probably should be selling at like $5.40. Because there's going to be other people that are going to be selling at that $5.40 level. So you're going to probably get some good resistance at that level. Okay. But yeah, I mean, this thing could go higher, but I wouldn't really push my luck trying to wait for that. If you're in it for the long term, then you probably don't care. But if you're short term trading it and you're trying to make some money in this bull cycle, then I would probably say $5.40 seems to be the most reasonable price target in the long term for Pendle. Okay, moving on to Giga, and then we'll look at Turbo after that. Let's take a look at Giga. I appreciate you guys making these requests. I try to get to all of them, but if I don't, then we'll just have to save it for tomorrow. And we got Gigacoin here at 0.017 pennies, down roughly almost 6% today. I got the VRVP showing here. The VRVP is showing that the POC is at about $0.015 roughly. So this thing possibly could come down to the POC, that blue line, at $0.015, get a reaction, and try to use that as support, hopefully, to then go to higher prices. And if you do go to higher prices, you got a drop in the VRVP volume here. You got a little bit of volume here, like 0.027 pennies. A little bit under 3, and then of course you got some more volume here at 3 pennies, and then you get the value area high sitting at like 3.5 pennies. And I think 3.5 pennies you should be happy to sell this crypto GigaChad at that value area high of like 3.5 pennies, because you'll basically be doubling your money from where you are right now, and you should be happy. But there's no guarantee that you're actually going to go past that 3.5 penny level. So I would start selling something, maybe the majority of my GigaChad here, if I see 3.5 pennies. But if you want to push your luck, then yeah, I mean, this thing possibly could could go to like where it was kind of like trading sideways and bottoming out here at like 5.5 pennies maybe. Yeah, that would probably be a long-term take profit target later on in 2025. 5.5 pennies. All right, so that's the VRVP. And just looking at Giga Chad, it looks like you are trying to create some higher lows here. Could this be another higher low? You're hoping so, because then, you know, then you can start trying to make a higher high at some point. And if you do make a higher high, we want to get above this candle wick here at like, yeah, 2.5 pennies, 0.0266 pennies to be exact. If it can do that, then I would feel more confident that we're in a reversal. We're reversing the downtrend, and we're starting a new trend of being bullish on this coin. I want to see this thing get above 0.0266 pennies. All right, moving on to Turbo. All right, zooming out, getting familiar. We're looking at just a naked chart right now, no indicators yet. Turbo has seen better days back in December. Okay, we saw this thing as high as 0.013 pennies, so that's the high water mark. Actually, 0.0144 pennies. It was the high water mark on December 11th. All right, so just keep that in mind. I do see some possible resistance right here, like 0.06 penny. So let me just mark that out real quick. Around this area is what we're targeting for Turbo here. Okay, that red line at like 0.069, almost 0.007 pennies roughly, is going to be my first take profit on this crypto. And yeah, it looks like you bottom out, right? You did bottom out here, because you're above the highs here in February. So you're already above those highs. You're reversing the trend. That's good to see. And then where could this thing go next? Let me go ahead and start putting on some indicators here. I'll go into all the indicators. All right, I'll get rid of my little cheat sheet Cypher B here. And I'll get rid of the VRVP for now. And what are we looking at here? Okay, so it looks like we're getting some resistance off of the, as we get closer to the 200-day moving average, sitting at like 0.0060 pennies here. That probably would be your near-term day trading take profit target. And then once you get above the 200-day moving average, I do see, I think there will be some more resistance at like 0.0069 pennies. We can confirm that with the VRVP here. But just looking at the RSI, you were overbought and overheated towards the end of April, and you're cooling down on the RSI now at like 66. So this thing is probably going to go sideways for now, and hopefully recapture that 200-day moving average at some point. And now let me just turn on the VRVP here. I'll get rid of the moving averages, clean things up, and I'll turn on the VRVP. And the VRVP is showing, yeah, I think 0.0069 or 0.007 pennies is going to be the next significant resistance level for this crypto. And then you got the value area high sitting at like 0.076 pennies. So that would probably be where I'd be taking profit on this coin. That red line and that white line there, okay? And then, you know, not saying that it can't go higher than that, but I would, you know, it seems like the move has already been made on this coin. People have made money the last couple of weeks here on this coin. But you could probably still make some more money and then be selling at that white line, 0.0076 pennies. And let me just get rid of the VRVP here real quick. And yeah, let's see this thing. I mean, if you get back to where you were, if you could revisit that high of 0.014 pennies, you'd basically be getting a 3x at that point. That would be nice. But I think realistically, you'll probably be somewhere between 0.007 and possibly like over here at like 1 penny. And that's where you should be selling your turbo at. And if it gets to 1 penny, you basically got a 2x right now from where you are trading at right now. You got like a 2x possible with turbo. I'm getting hungry. All this talking about cryptos and look at the charts. I'm working up an appetite. I'm gonna probably make lunch here soon. But let's see if I got any more last minute requests here. I think somebody said something about Punji or something like that. And I got Jack Slam saying Moonwell. Alright, yeah, you asked about it yesterday. I think, yeah, we did cover Moonwell yesterday, but we could look at it one more time. So we'll look at Moonwell, and then let's see. ZBCN. Or no, ZBEC. That's what you're asking for. Alright. Oh my god, so many requests. Amanda, we looked at Sui earlier in this live stream. If you're able to go back, you could try to see my analysis there, but I think Sui is going to trade sideways for the most part until Wednesday when we get the interest rate decision. And, you know, Sui could possibly go up to like $5 later on, maybe this summer, as my long-term take profit target on Sui. All right, let's take a look at the ZBEC and then Moonwell. And that's going to be it for today, guys. Hey, Bubbles, I'm glad you like the content. If you haven't hit the follow button already, go ahead and hit the follow button so you'll know when I go live here. And yeah, for my YouTube guys, if you're new and you're liking the live streams here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, let's see, what did I say? We're gonna do Moonwell and ZBEC. Let's look at ZBEC first, because I know you made that request before Moonwell, and then we'll look at Moonwell after that. All right, let's see, ZBEC on Mexi. ZBEC is actually having a pretty good day today. Up 5.3%. This thing trading at 0.00194 pennies. And what is this thing doing? Okay, all right. So it has seen better days back in May of 2024. I'm zoomed out here on the daily chart. And wow, okay, this thing, wow, okay. So this thing is catching the bid. Okay, this thing was as low as 0.0007 pennies on April 23rd. This thing, oh man, wow, how much money has you guys made with this one? Let's see, going from down here at 0.0009 pennies to like where we are right now, this thing has made 100% gain already. So you basically already doubled in value since the end of April here. That's good. Congratulations to whoever owns this asset. Hopefully you were buying at these levels here. But just eyeballing the chart here, yeah, I can see, yeah, we're getting some resistance now. High water mark to beat is 0.0021 pennies, which you're getting close to it, but that's going to be probably where we get some more resistance. Let's see. You are overbought on the RSI here at 77. So this leads me to believe that we'll most likely go sideways here as we're getting close to this resistance from the previous high. You might go down. Probability of going down is higher than going up. But you could also go up on this crypto, right? and continue being overbought on the RSI. So just keep that in mind. Let's look at the cheat sheet. Let's see what Market Cipher B has to say about ZBEC here. All right, so if you guys are looking at Market Cipher B, you got the Market Cipher B indicator on TradingView. The last dot was a green buy dot here on April 26th. And you haven't had a red dot show up on the daily time frame here yet. So it's not telling us to sell, but I'd probably be, if I doubled in the last 2 weeks, I would be selling something. MACD is still showing some pretty solid green buy candles on the MACD. Interesting. So this thing could probably continue being overbought. That's interesting. All right. Let's go ahead and try to turn on the VRVP. See what the VRVP has to say. VRVP is saying that the point of control, the blue line, is currently at 0.0009 pennies, so you're below it. I mean, I'm sorry, the POC is below us right now. And also the value area high is below us, so this thing could be considered overvalued, to be honest, but we don't really have that much data because like this thing has been trading on Mexi Exchange since May of 2024. All right, I guess that is a good amount of data, actually. I take that back. But it seems like a lot of people bought at that POC at 0.009 pennies, so there's a lot of people that are in profit right now with this coin already, except for those that bought at these candle wick highs in February of 2025. Yeah. Let's turn on the moving averages, see what the moving averages have to say, and let me get rid of the VRVP for now. Yeah, I mean, I would say that this thing is overbought. All the moving averages are below you. You're very far from any moving average at this point, and funny enough, you're not getting a sell signal on Market Cipher B. But I'm pretty sure that the sell signal is going to come in soon here. The red dot should be showing up on Market Cipher B. This one's interesting. All right, it could continue being overbought, or it could drop like a rock soon. Okay, that's what I'm gathering from this crypto, and looking at the charts and the data here. You could drop like a rock back to the moving averages, are sitting at like 0.001 penny, so you could lose maybe like almost 50%. If I draw this out here from where we're at right now, you could lose about 40 or 50% if this thing drops down to the moving averages. I think it's risky. I would not be trying to get into this asset at these prices. Bubbles, you've been following me for a while. Thank you. And you love XRP. So does a lot of people. XRP, actually, I looked at another YouTuber. I think it was Coin Bureau. They said that XRP was like the only cryptocurrency that actually went up during the last 3 months here in 2025. Like for the first quarter of 2025, XRP was like the only one that actually went up, but not by much, like 0.3%. Everything else was down, including Bitcoin. But yeah, let me get into this other request here for Moonwell. I believe that was the one that Jack Slam asked me. Yeah. So, kudos to the XRP investors. You actually did better than everybody else by not losing so much in the first quarter. All right. Looking at Moonwell here on Coinbase, trading at 0.028 pennies. And we're down like 3% today, roughly. Okay. I see that we have the moving averages are starting to, well, the 21 EMA is starting to curve back up here. At 21 EMA, hopefully it gets respected as support. Looks like you got above the 50-day, the green line. And that you got above it, so it's no longer resistance. And you want to see if this gets treated like support here. You got the 50 and the 21 EMA basically at 0.026 or 27 pennies here. So you're just hoping that you treat that as support. And then you're looking for this thing to climb up higher. And it probably might get resistance from the 100-day, sitting at 0.039 pennies. Okay, so basically like 4 cents is the first take profit target on this coin. And you got the red line that's starting to show up. The 200-day moving average is starting to show up here. And that one is saying that there could be some resistance at 0.047 pennies. So you're basically... You know, your take profit target is going to be 4 pennies or basically 4.5 pennies. Okay? According to the moving averages here. And let's see if I turn on the VRVP, what do we got? What do we got? What is the VRVP going to say here? VRVP says that you have a high volume node at like 3 pennies. And then after that, it drops off on the volume. And then you got probably another high volume node here. At like 4 pennies. So yeah, 4 pennies is what you should be targeting. And then you got some more volume here at like 5 pennies, and then some more volume here at 6 pennies. So basically 4, 5, 6 is what you should be doing for your take profit targets on this crypto. All right, I see it. The chat is pretty lively over here on my YouTube. My YouTube guys are talking here. Is Meat Damien coin out yet? Yeah, that's Oh yeah, we'll have to look at Cookie DAO. I think you made that request towards the end of my last live stream yesterday. We'll look at Cookie DAO, and then let's see. Can you please explain how to find the bottom? And I don't have any specific asset. I just want to know in particular how to find the bottom. Are you even reading your chat on YouTube? Now I am. It doesn't seem like to me. Yeah, I got my TikTok guys. They keep me busy, and I'm trying to bounce between TikTok and YouTube here. All right, so we'll look at Cookie DAO, and then to answer your question about trying to find the bottom, let's see if I could just look at the trying to find the bottom here on Moonwell. Okay, so I probably should make a tutorial video like how to find the bottom at some point, but usually when you're trying to find the bottom, you're looking for higher lows starting to form, okay? Or at the very least, you're looking for like maybe even a double bottom, okay? In this case, for Moonwell, we saw a double bottom here at 0.019 pennies on March 11th. And then you had the second bottom here at like 0.0154 pennies here. At April 9th. So this counts as a double bottom in my eyes, okay? And the way the double bottom usually works is if you're using it as a chart pattern, you just measure from where the double bottom's at to the top in between the two bottoms, okay? It's not really straight, but around there, okay? And you just take that measured move, you put it on top of the top in between the two bottoms here, and it gives you a possible take profit target. This thing could go to 3.5 pennies, okay? So that's one way you could be looking for a bottom, is, you know, you want to see if this thing is creating a double bottom, and then you also want to be looking for higher lows, okay? And now that we it looks like we bottom out on Moonwell, you're now looking for higher lows and higher highs, okay? And the last high that we need to beat is about 3.5 pennies. Once you get above 3.5 pennies, then you can qualify that as a higher high, and then you're just looking to continue making higher lows as you basically. Let me just draw it out here. You know, hopefully this is the low right here, and then we go up, we get above 3.5 pennies, maybe go to 4 pennies, come back down again, maybe down to like 3.5 pennies. And then we go back up and we break through 4 cents, and you're looking for something like that. And that's how you know, like, you bottom out, you got the double bottom, you created higher highs, hopefully a higher low here, another higher high, and then just looking for higher highs and higher lows, and you got yourself a bull trend. Okay. All right. Okay. So Cookie Dow, that was the other coin that we were gonna look at, and I think that's gonna be it here for this live stream. Appreciate the requests, Jesse. Oh, actually, that was OMS. Yeah, appreciate the request, OMS, and yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna read your comments here, guys, when I get a chance. But let's look at the Cookie Dow. We'll take a look at Cookie Dow, and then I think I will look at Bitcoin one more time as we close out this live stream here. All right, Cookie on Coinbase. Yeah, sure, why not? So we're looking at Cookie right now. Hopefully you're still in the live stream there, OMS. This thing is trading at 15 pennies, roughly 0.157 pennies. Oh my god, no. What am I doing here? Get rid of that. Alright, so what do we got here for Cookie Dow? Looks like this thing hasn't really been trading on Coinbase that long. It started trading on March 11th here. Let me see if I can find another chart that's got more information, that's been trading longer on the exchange. Let's see Binance. Yeah, Binance got more data. But even Binance shows that this thing started trading on Binance in January of 2025. So this is a relatively new asset, new crypto to be trading. And I'm already looking at my cheat sheet here, and it's telling me that we have a red dot, a sell signal on Saturday, May 3rd. It's telling us that we should be selling this crypto. Yikes, okay. Saturday, you were down 12.5%. Yikes, that's probably why we got the red dot on Market Cipher B. Also, RSI is overheated, or was overheated. You had an RSI of like 75. And then another let's see, RSI like 74 on Thursday. So this thing is overheated as of now. Just looking at that's what the RSI is saying, and you got a sell dot. So if this thing does start coming down, how far down could it go? Where could the higher low start to form? Let's chart that out here real quick. We got a high watermark here. We got a most recent high of like 21 cents. So we'll put that as the top, and then we'll come down. We'll come down to like the lows here. This thing got as low as what, 7 pennies. So yeah, we'll put it at 7 pennies. Yeah. Okay. All right. So if this thing continues going lower than where it is right now, you might see it make a retracement to the 0.5 at basically 13 pennies, 0.138 pennies to be exact. Or it could make an even deeper retracement down to 0.382, and that would be about roughly 12 pennies here. Okay, so you might start forming a higher low, or you might just come down to like 12 pennies if this thing continues being this little downtrend that it's in right now, that it just started on Friday here. Okay, realistically I would probably be targeting, I think, you know, about 13.5 pennies is probably where I would start buying if I wanted to get into this asset, because that puts you near the 0.5 retracement level. You also got some sideways trading action that could possibly be support, and then also right over here you have some more sideways trading action at like 12 pennies and 13 pennies. That could also be a support zone. Okay, so yeah, I'm looking for this thing to come down a little bit further, and I want to be putting my buy orders in at like 12 or 13 pennies, somewhere in that area. And then hopefully that's the low, and then you can start seeing this asset go to higher prices and making a higher high at some point. And if it does make a higher high, you want to get above this candle wick here of like 25 cents. Ultimately, you want to get above this other one at like 30 cents. And that makes sense. Yeah, I think 30 cents is a good a good take profit target for this crypto, because that's the high watermark, the high here back in February of 2025, and it's also the 1618 Phipps extension saying that you could get to 29 cents, and you're basically going to be doubling your money if it gets up to like 29, 30 cents. So yeah, but I think right now you're just looking for, see if you can scoop up some cheaper cookie right now at like 12 or 13 cents is where I'd be targeting right now. All right. So yeah, that's cookie in a nutshell. And let's see, Jesse, I'm reading your comments now. Let's see. Trade Intuition says he goes back and forth from TikTok and YouTube about 5 to 10 minutes after his thought process on coins. Yeah, that's pretty much how I operate right now. This isn't a live stream for you. You were constantly checking your chat, so kudos to you. Trade Intuition. You didn't even know. Yeah. Hey, Jesse, I'm sorry. You know, it's just I'm streaming between two services here. I'm trying my best. Let's see. I'm trying to be as fast. Yeah, Porky's pretty fast with reading the comments. But he's only doing YouTube. I'm over here doing YouTube and TikTok. So I'm trying my best over here. Let's see. Trade Intuition says, okay, yep. I usually try to get to the chats when I can. Yeah. We're gonna look at Bitcoin after this. Thank you, OMS, for telling me that you appreciate the content. And then let's see, OMS, try to buy bit chart. Trade Intuition saying explains trading intuition explains how to find the bottoms. He explains his thought process, and that is what the real trader should do. Yeah, and yeah, we are all learning and improving. Yeah, I gotta like make like a checklist as like how I try to find bottoms and how I try to identify where the bottom is at. I'll have to like make a checklist for you guys at some point here. Let's look at Bitcoin, and then I'll be finishing off the live stream with Bitcoin, and then we'll have to just. You guys will have to look for my next live stream tomorrow. Maybe around the same time, maybe a little bit later in the afternoon or evening time here. All right, so we are now looking at Bitcoin trading at $95,365. And I said earlier in the live stream, I see Bitcoin probably trading sideways and down. Probably going to the 0.786 retracement at like 92,780 bucks. Okay, if I turn on the moving averages, I think one of them is saying that the 100-day moving average is probably going to provide some support, hopefully at 92,900. So yeah, 92,800, 92,900 is where we're looking to get support for Bitcoin. If we lose that, then we might come down to the 0.618 at 88,900. And yeah, that's pretty much where the 200-day is kind of sitting at. Almost, not really. Yeah, not really. The 200-day moving average. Yeah, if we lose the 200-day moving average, I would start to become a little bit worried about Bitcoin still being in a downtrend, and then I'd be worried that we're just making a lower high on Bitcoin if we lose the 200-day. That 200-day is sitting at $90,200. Yeah, if we lose 90K, I'm gonna start worrying that Bitcoin, there might be something wrong with it. Yeah. But realistically, and most likely, I believe I'm still bullish on Bitcoin and crypto. I think we're just gonna make a we'll probably come down and test the 100-day moving average here at 92K, 92.9K to be exact. Yeah, we'll see how Bitcoin, you know, reacts, if it's gonna respect the 100-day and use that as support. But if it does, then I feel bad for anybody that didn't buy Bitcoin earlier and take advantage of the 70 and 80K area here. Because if Bitcoin continues being bullish, then this Fibonacci extension is saying that we could see $112,000 Bitcoin in the near future, maybe. And then we got what, the 2618 saying $135,000. I keep seeing $130,000 show up in the charts here. I think that's going to be where Bitcoin is going to be at later on in 2025. So yeah, those are your bullish targets for Bitcoin if we continue being bullish here. And I just gave you the downside targets here of like 92.9K, and of course we got to stay above 90K or else it's not going to be good for altcoins, to be honest. All right. Let me just read the comments here. And then I think that's going to be it for today. All right, Jesse's saying something about 81K. And trade intuition trades level by level. And let's see. You make money on the way up and on the way down. If you know, you know. Yes, as day traders, we try to make, you know, right now I'm looking for shorts on Bitcoin, and I'm targeting 92.9K, 92.8K for my short-term day trading. And yeah, we'll see if we're able to move up to higher prices. I think Bitcoin is going to probably go to 92.8K. Use that as support, and then we probably might trade sideways between 92K and 97K. To be honest, I think those are going to be the range that we're going to be in for Bitcoin this week is between I believe 92 and 97K. All right, that's going to be it, guys. Appreciate you coming on to the live stream. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. And yeah, look for my next live stream probably around the same time tomorrow, or maybe 4 or 5 p.m. East Coast time. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Appreciate you guys coming on to the live stream here. And good luck in whatever asset you decide to get yourselves involved in here. Take care, guys.